Alright, so the other day I was scrolling and just thinking about what new anime could I watch that I haven't seen. And this is when I ran across the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse. And let me just say, the anime is absolute peak. Now, a lot of y'all don't know that the 7 Deadly Sins is actually one of my, I wouldn't say top 5, I'd say top 10. It's one of my top 10 animes. And yes, you already know Escanor was one of my favorite characters. Wait, you said the anime is bad? Who decided that? You said the animation is ass? Who decided that? You said Escanor can't be Goku? Who decided? No, I'm just playing. Escanor can't do nothing to Goku. I ain't gonna lie, Goku a whole different monster. Alright, so anime takes place at this place called God's Finger, and this is the main character, Percival. Yes, his hair may looks like a Oompa Loompa, but believe me, he's tough. And this right here, this is Percival's granddad. He is also tough. They both trying to hunt down this bird, and the granddad's so cold, he run around the corner to get the weapon to take down the bird. And goodness, this granddad is built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why is this granddad so strong? And I'm not gonna lie, his top is so big and swole, it still makes his bottom look small. So after the granddad picks up the pitchfork, he throws a dime dot from downtown, hitting the bird straight in the chest and knocking it down. And without Percival missing the beat, he jumps on the bird while it's falling down the cliff to catch it and keep it from falling. I'm not gonna lie, these two are moving like Toji and Yuji when it comes to beating up this bird. They end up taking the bird home and knocking off all the feathers and all the extra stuff. And after they chopped it up and they cooked it, this W eats. So we find out that the granddad is taking care of Percival since his dad is kind of a deadbeat. And we come to find out that Percival's granddad have actually been trying to get Percival to venture out and explore more. But Percival, he kind of likes the bond that him and his granddad shares, and he enjoys the time that they have together. So he just kind of shrugs it off and tells his granddad that he enjoys spending time with him. Later on, as Percival and his granddad is going to sleep, Percival ends up sneaking back out and goes to the cliff of God's Finger. And we actually find out that Percival really is excited about all these adventures and all these stories that his granddad told him. But as I said earlier, he didn't really want to let his granddad know because he does enjoy that bond and he does enjoy the time that they spend together. But Percival ends up thinking about that for so long that he ends up falling asleep, and when he wakes up, he sees some guy in a floating boat standing in front of him. Now just hear me out, Percival. Normally when someone comes to you in a full plate of armor, riding on a boat that is somehow floating on the sky, normally if they come up to you, they're not here on goodwill. If y'all don't understand the reference, let me put it a different way. It's like you coming up trying to challenge me, the strongest mortal being of this world, and expecting to win. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute. It's like, what in your mind possessed you to think that this is a good idea? That this was cool? That this was okay? That this wasn't gonna go a different type of way? Yeah, now look at you, trembling, looking stupid. But that boy Percival was using no brain cells when this man asked him where is his granddad at, and he literally told him over the simplest trade. Hey little man, where your gramps at? I'm not gonna lie, bro, I don't even really know you and I don't know what you want from my grandpa, but I'm not gonna tell you, my boy. It don't work like that. This little nigga. Alright man, what you want?
Let me drive the boat.
Is that all?
Yes.
Knock yourself out, little nigga. Now just tell me where he is. He's over there behind the hill. It's the only house. How did he paddle this John in mid-air? It just doesn't make sense. Is this man Percival serious? He just gave up the location of his granddad to a random stranger he just met over a boat. Now I'm not gonna lie, it's cold that that John is floating in mid-air. I wish they would tell me how that was happening, because how was that happening? We all got the same question here. But thanks to Percival and his ignorance, the unthinkable happened. So the knight ends up sleeping behind Percival's granddad and knocks him through the house with his magical beam. And if the granddad is getting back up and charging him again, the knight shoots another beam directly through the granddad's body, making a gigantic hole. I'm not gonna lie, the granddad may be cooked here. I don't see how he will survive this. I'm not gonna lie, he's cooked. So Percival ends up showing up, and he's trying to lend any type of aid and support to his granddad he can so he won't get killed. But since the knight is so strong, everything that Percival is doing is little to no help. And just when the granddad grabs the knight to try to give Percival some time to get away, after the knight ends up taking out Percival's granddad, he ends up walking over to Percival and doing the same to him. And then he just leaves the island like he didn't just body 2 people, bro. Bro pulled up, bodied 2 people just so prophecy of the 4 nights of the apocalypse coming to overrun King Arthur and destroy the world wouldn't happen. And he didn't even know that it was any one of these people. He just did it just off the slight inconvenience and the possibility that it could be one of these 2. Percival ends up being fine from his wounds, but the granddad is still going to die because he did get hit a bunch of times. So they both are just saying their last moments, and Percival ends up having to bury his granddad, and this sadly starts his adventure. After Percival takes a few more moments at his grandpa's grave, he ends up setting off for his adventure, and this is where he runs into this fox. And I'm not gonna lie, there's some fishy going on with the pink fox. I don't know what it is. All I know is that I can't prove it right now, but I know that it is something definitely fishy with that fox. Since Percival has never seen a fox or at that a pink fox, he's kind of talking to the fox like it's a other human, and he kind of finds out that animals can't talk like people. So the fox ends up running away. He ends up chasing the fox throughout the woods, and this is where he runs into this group of musicians. Let's just call them the 3 Musketeers. The 3 people are out practicing their magic, and they kind of think that nobody's around, but when they finish their set, that's when they turn around and they see Percival clapping. And the red-haired guy, Donnie, he was kind of upset that Percival got a show for free, so he was trying to charge him, but Percival, being, you know, a kid, being 16, he didn't have any money, so he just took his belongings. And can you believe that this man used his powers to leave Percival in the air and took the cabin with the other 2 people and shot off? So after Donnie's spell wears off, Percival ends up dropped to the ground, and he somehow runs and catches up with the cab with 3 people on it being pulled by one single horse. He caught up on feet. Now just like that pink fox, it's something going on with Percival right now. I just can't prove it. How did he take a close-up magic beam to the chest that went through a mountain, get left floating in mid-air, and caught up on a cab, pulling 3 people and belongings on feet in seconds? He caught up in seconds. Now it's something going on with Percival. I just can't prove it. After Percival ends up catching up with the group, they kind of suspect Percival will be mad for leaving them in the air and taking his belongings. But Percival, being the chill guy he is, he doesn't really care. He's just kind of happy that he ran into a few people after his granddad died. They also ask, what is a kid like you doing out here in the woods by yourself? And this is when Percival tells them he's looking for the man who killed his granddad, which Percival also found out to be his father. Yes, the Red Knight who came and almost killed Percival and killed his granddad is his own flesh and blood. After they talk about everything, Donnie asks Percival if he's good at any magic tricks, since the group does go around doing magic for money. And this is when they take him to a field and try to give him a bow and arrow so he could do archery, just to do something to make him money, but that doesn't end up going well because the arrow that Percival shoots at the apple somehow turns around and almost hits Donnie in the head and gave that boy a fresh cut. So after that whole event, they end up going to the nearest town, and this is when this random guy runs up to him yelling about a wolf and telling him to go grab the Holy Knight. But Donnie, being Donnie, and Donnie wanting some money, he was like, yeah, we'll take care of the wolf, that's fine, we have no problem in defeating a low ranked lonely wolf. It's easy work. Nah, I'm lying, they didn't say this wolf was this damn big. As soon as Donnie sees the size of that wolf, he turns around and he takes off the carriage with everybody inside. And this is when Percival jumps out because he remembers what his granddad used to tell him, saying how his mission was always to protect the weak and fight for those who can't fight for themselves. So Percival jumps out, takes out the bow and arrow, and fires 2 shots at the wolf. And the arrows, for some reason, they came back and almost hit this man in the head and pinned him to the ground. And as the wolf was getting ready to take a swipe at Percival, Donnie ends up jumping in at the last second and taking the charge for Percival and saving him in the last second. As the wolf is getting ready to hit Percival again, he ends up catching his paw with one hand, then move an inch, jumps up and delivers the meanest slap to the wolf, beating him in one slap. This man Percival is on a whole different level. Everybody in town was so hyped and so shocked at the same time that this kid was able to beat this gigantic wolf. After the incident, everybody is throwing a party and celebrating Percival beating the wolf. And as they celebrating, Percival is going around asking anybody if they know a holy knight in red armor or if they know a holy knight by the name of Ironside, and he's getting no luck. But as he's just about to give up, A holy knight comes out of the sky dripped in all black armor, saying that he knows exactly who he's looking for. We find out that the knight in all black armor came all this way because he realized that Percival was the one who defeated his familiar, which was that gigantic wolf. And he tells Percival, the only way I'll give you information on the guy you're looking for is if you can beat me in a 1v1 duel. And so Percival and this random knight starts to get into a fight just so Percival can get some information on Ironside. So they both start boxing. Percival ends up knocking the Black Knight back. And after he pushes the knight back, he ends up charging at the knight with consecutive punches. But the knight being extra strong and being in armor, he ends up not really feeling too much and ends up slamming Percival to the ground. He almost knocks him away with his mace. After that does no effect and he slips away from getting smashed, he goes back in with the consecutive punches, but ends up getting grabbed up by the Holy Knight. And this is when Percival, for the first time of the series, uses his magic power to knock him back. Yeah, I know I gotta leave y'all off on this cliffhanger. If y'all enjoying the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and do all those YouTube things and hit that bell so you know when I post part 2, whenever I'ma post that. The Four Knights of the Apocalypse so far is a very lit anime. I can't wait to get deeper in and to learn more and to see Percival master his newfound powers. I'll see y'all next video though. It's been real.